Pages 6 through 9, the first real sand giving.
I don't know, Jimmy said, and shrugged. My grandmother makes everything. Great. Given all the fuss I had made the week before, Abuela knew something was amiss when I hadn't mentioned anything else about Thanksgiving. Mijo, ¿qué pasó with Thanksgiving? She asked. There's only 5 days left. I have to start cooking, no? Abuela, I whined. I don't know what to buy or how to make anything. What are we going to do? No worry. We can have pork and black beans like we always have. Maybe some cuboroni? That's Americano enough, no? She said, genuinely trying to appease me. I guess so, Abuela, but it's not the same, I said. Espera a minute, she said, and darted to her bedroom. She returned with that week's Liberty Mart flyer. Mira, look, this will help, mijo. It was a special flyer with pictures like the ones on my dittos and full of Thanksgiving Day items on sale, including turkeys and something called stuffing in a box, which immediately caught my attention. Could it be true? Could Thanksgiving dinner be as easy to make as instant mashed potatoes and macaroni and cheese? With the flyer as my guide, I made a list, and Abuela calculated the cost to the penny. $27.35 plus tax. She gave me $30, and off I went on my bike to Liberty Mart, hoping Thanksgiving would be as easy and tasty as spray cheese from a can, my favorite. The store was more crowded than I had ever seen it before. I roamed around for a while looking for stuffing, but it wasn't listed on any of the signs above the aisles. I noticed a lady wearing culottes and a fancy pendant necklace, just like Mrs. Brady from the Brady Bunch. Surely she was American, I thought. Surely she would know all about making a Thanksgiving meal. I worked up the nerve to ask her where I could find the stuffing, pointing to the picture of it on the flyer. Well, how sweet. You're helping your mother fix Thanksgiving dinner? She asked, as if I were 3 years old. Yes, I said, seizing the opportunity. But I don't know where to find anything. Oh, don't worry, honey, she continued. Just go to the end of aisle 8. They have everything you'll need, Pumpkin. Did she call me Pumpkin? Why? Or did she mean they had pumpkin pie there? I was confused. Really? Even pumpkin pie? I asked. Oh, I don't know, honey. I always buy the frozen ones. It's so much easier than making one from scratch, she offered. Frozen pumpkin pie? Could it be that easy? Just as Mrs. Brady said, I found everything in the special Thanksgiving display at the end of aisle 8, including the stuffing in a box. I read the instructions on the box. Boil 1 to 1.5 cups water and a 1/4 cup margarine in a medium saucepan. Stir in contents of stuffing mix pouch. Cover. Remove from heat. Let stand 5 minutes. Fluff with fork. Just as I had hoped. Easy as mashed potatoes. Abuela saying, "Como inventan los americanos," rang truer than ever to me then. There were also cans of yams at the display, alongside bags of tiny marshmallows, just as Patrick Pilkington had told me. What he didn't tell me, or didn't know, was that the instructions for candied yams were right on the marshmallow bag. Put mashed yams in casserole. Mix together margarine, cinnamon, brown sugar, and honey. Top with miniature marshmallows. Bake at 325 degrees until heated through and marshmallows are bubbly. Even Abuela could make that once I translated for her. There were also cans of something called cranberry jelly piled up high. Jelly in a can? I wondered. None of the American kids had mentioned that, but I saw other customers tossing 1 or 2 cans into their carts. I followed suit, figuring it was important for something. All I needed was the turkey. Will Abuela know how to cook something that enormous? I worried, staring at the case full of frozen turkeys. Sure, the turkeys on the Dittos had looked big, but these were 3, 4, 5 times the size of a chicken. Would Abuela freak out? But I noticed the turkeys also had cooking instructions printed right on the wrapper. I read them over and discovered the turkey had a timer that would pop up when it was done. Como inventan los americanos? The instructions also recommended 3/4 of a pound per person. So I started counting relatives, and family friends who we considered relatives anyway, blood or no blood. Tio Maurizio and my bratty cousins, Margot and Adolfo. Tias Mirta, Ophelia, and Susanna, my godparents. Tios Berto, Pepe, and Regino. The mechanic, Minervino, and his wife. Altogether about 20-something guests, I estimated, and figured I needed at least a 20-pounder. There was no way I could carry it on my bike all the way home with the rest of the groceries. I'd have to come back just for the turkey. Considering the number of guests, I went back to the display and got 2 more boxes of stuffing, 6 cans of yams, 4 bags of marshmallows, and 3 cans of cranberry jelly, whatever that was for. And then I picked up a frozen pumpkin pie, like Mrs. Brady had suggested. Proud as a pilgrim in 1621, I floated down the aisles with my loaded cart, ready for my first real Thanksgiving. When I got home, I set the bags down on the kitchen table and explained to Abuela that the turkey was too big and I needed to go back right away. Pero, how are you going to carry it? She asked, concerned. Your abuelo can't take you. He's at a baseball game with Caco. You'll have to wait until mañana. But I didn't want to wait until the next day. What if they ran out of turkeys? I told Abuela I'd tie the turkey to the handlebars on my bike. She thought it over for a moment, then handed me a piece of twine from the kitchen drawer where she kept twist ties. She thought it over for a moment, then handed me a piece of twine from the kitchen drawer where she kept twist ties, matches, and birthday candles. I hopped back on my bike, darted to Liberty Mart, got my bird, and tied all 21 pounds of it across the breast onto my handlebars. But getting it home wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. When I rode over the pothole in front of St. Brendan's rectory, like I always did for the heck of it, one of the knots slipped, and the frozen turkey slid like a shuffleboard puck down the sidewalk and into the gutter before stopping inches away from the catch drain. No problem, I thought. It was frozen and sealed in plastic. I picked it up and tied it even tighter with a few extra knots. But while I was cutting through a parking lot, it fell again and skidded under a huge 4-door sedan. I crouched down and tried to grab it, but it was just out of my arm's reach. Finally, I squirmed under the car on my belly and yanked it back, the turkey and me emerging grimy and blotched with oil.